contender. We're talking about a floating city, a mobile airbase, and an incredible symbol of power, all rolled into one massive package. So let's dive right into this marvel of engineering, the aircraft carrier.
Just take a look at this. At first glance, the deck of the USS George Washington, it looks like absolute controlled chaos, right? So how in the world does this intricate, high-stakes ballet of multi-million-dollar aircraft and highly trained crew operate with such stunning precision on a moving runway in the middle of the ocean?
Get this, really humming, that's the rhythm. A plane launching or landing every 25 seconds. It's just staggering. This thing isn't just a ship. It's a brutally efficient machine, and it's designed for one single purpose, to project air power anywhere in the world. And that relentless intensity, well, that's the secret to its power.
What's the fundamental purpose of this floating fortress? I mean, why build something so enormous and so complex? Well, the answer is about a whole lot more than just carrying planes.
You see, here's what makes it such a powerful strategic asset. A carrier doesn't need to ask permission from any other country to operate. It is, for all intents and purposes, a 4.5-acre slice of sovereign territory that can be moved anywhere on the high seas, ready to go at a moment's notice. I mean, that is what strategic independence looks like on a global scale.
So how do you build a 97,000-ton behemoth like this? Well, believe it or not, you do it one giant piece at a time.
It all starts in a gigantic dry dock. A Nimitz-class carrier, which has been the workhorse of the U.S. fleet for decades, is actually put together from almost 200 separate modular pieces. They call them superlifts, and it all begins with the foundation, a hull made of steel plates that are several inches thick.
And some of them weigh up to 900 tons. They're prefabricated with a lot of the wiring and plumbing already installed, and then this massive crane just lowers them into place like they're a set of high-tech, billion-dollar building blocks, piecing the whole ship together from the bottom up.
And then comes the final iconic piece of the puzzle. This right here, the 575-ton island. This is the nerve center for the entire ship, and watching it get lowered onto the flight deck, well, that marks a huge milestone in bringing one of these carriers to life.
Carrier is basically a multi-story building that's been wrapped inside a ship's hull. It's an Air Force base, a small city, and a warship all crammed into one structure with several key decks that define how it all works. So let's just break that down real quick. Up top, you've got the flight deck. That's the runway. Right below it, the enormous hangar deck. That's for storing and repairing all the aircraft. And of course, towering over it all is the island, the command center for everything from flight ops to actually steering the ship. Powers this floating city. What on earth gives it the energy to move at over 35 knots and sustain thousands of crew members? Well, the answer lies deep down, right in its core.
And to really get the power needed, you have to appreciate the incredible scale we're talking about here. A Nimitz-class carrier, when it's fully loaded, displaces a staggering 97,000 tons of water. And its flight deck, that alone covers 4.5 acres. It's literally an airport runway that's moving across the ocean.
Its crew of thousands going, it has to be completely self-sufficient. It makes 400,000 gallons of fresh water every single day. That's enough for a small town.
All the power to move that weight and sustain that city comes from here, 2 nuclear reactors. They generate an immense amount of high-pressure steam that not only propels the ship, but powers absolutely everything on board. This gives the carrier a virtually unlimited range for more than 15 years, without ever having to refuel.
The main event.
All right, now getting a 45,000-pound jet airborne from a runway that's less than 1,100 feet long. This requires a feat of just violent, controlled power.
The solution is something called the Steam Catapult System.